This video is brought to you by Midway USA. Support the channel by choosing Midway for your shooting and outdoor supplies.
Josh looks forward to expensive, spicy, the best performance.
Let's see if it's gonna be the best.
I mean, I am also looking forward to this, thank you very much. I am not blind to performance. We'll see.
All right, I'm on at 150. Let's start with some of these easy ones. Probably don't even need to shoot these, but we're here for it.
Okay.
Standardization is important.
Right, ready?
Yep. Square. Yep. 200.
200.
Up on the neck. On purpose, yeah?
Yes.
Okay, 250. Impact. Center. Stacked rounds. That's about 1 inch left of dead center.
Okay, so that was aiming at the head. Our drop is 0.6.
Yep, I was gonna say, that sounds just about right. All right, I'm on at 3.
Okay, 3, I am going to dial in at 1.5. You ready?
Okay.
I'll aim at the center dot, see how wind affects it, alright?
Okay. Impact. Upper chest. Just left of center. Yeah.
Is that the same spot?
Yeah. I'm like looking for the other impact and I'm like, no, it's just on top of each other.
Yeah, okay.
All right, sir, 350.
350?
Yep.
Alright, I'm going to keep the 1.5 to see how much it drops, alright?
Okay, I'm there.
Okay, reference dot is the right side? The right dot?
That's basically center.
Okay.
Impact, just below it, as you can see. Impact.
Alright. So that is 0.4 deviation from it. 1.4. Oh, sorry, 1.9.
If that's 1.9, you think this is like, what, 2.2?
Yeah, I'll use 2 just see where it goes.
Okay, I'm there. Impact. That was on the left edge of the plate. Just below center. Nice impact.
Okay.
Centered up on that one in terms of windage and still just trailing just a little below center.
Yeah, 2.2 was a right call on that one. I'd say
All right, I'm over at the 450.
I'd try like 2.829 for the next one, to be honest.
Okay.
What do you think?
Yeah, 2.8 sounds right.
And that was, I had to aim a little bit to the right. So you see that aiming dot right there?
I see the aiming dot, yes.
The aiming dot from a previous engagement, yeah?
Yeah, okay, I'm there. Yeah, definitely right to left wind here. Impact, square. Impact, upper chest.
Okay, yep, so 2.8's a right call on that one.
Okay, I'm on at 5.
Should I do 3-1, 3-2?
Sure. Well, whatever makes you happy.
Okay, 3-2 makes me happy.
Good. I'm there for it.
The wind, it looks like
It's not really affecting this that much, yeah. Not yet, anyways.
Yep.
And there's definitely right to left. I can see the Mirage rolling over the ground.
Okay. Ready?
Yep, I'm on at 5. Square impact. Nice impact.
Okay.
Just right of center, slightly high of center. First one was dead on, though.
Okay, I think that's closer to 3... Yeah, 3-2.
All right, I'm on at the 625. Impact. Solid. Impact. Just left of center on that shot.
Left of center, okay.
Yeah, a little bit of wind effect.
Okay.
I am on at the just under 700. Square.
Wait, these are one-shot kills, right?
Just freaking do them, dude. Do them again. Yeah. That one was on the right. All right, I am good. I'm over at the 830-ish, 835-ish yard plate. Those of you who are astute viewers will notice that the course has been changed slightly. The ranch did some expansion. Thank you to the team here for always making improvements.
All right, but this is on the DMR course. This is the last one.
It would be. Let's see if you can drill this one. What's our elevation call here?
I have it 8-0.
Yep. All right. Impact.
Low.
Yes.
Yeah, okay, so course is clear.
Well, give him another one, Henry.
But I want to
want
see.
another one.
I want to keep it on the same hold to see where it goes, right?
Yeah.
Same spot.
God, Jesus.
Same spot.
Dude, these guns aren't real.
All right, so
real.
that's a perfect cleat.
Yeah,
Is this the only?
I think so.
This is okay. So this is the first DMR to do a clean course.
Perfect.
On
Plus,
the
we
DMR
shot
course.
extras on everything.
And we did extras on each of them going out too. So, I mean, this is even more stringent than the other one.
Henry, 900.
Can we do the bonus round first?
No, I want to shoot straight.
All right,
to
we'll come back to the bonus round. 900. Okay, let's see what 900 could do. I've got 9.5 on my charts.
Yep, I'm there for it. Both of your hits, if you were favoring right of center, Henry.
Yeah, it was right there. I'm gonna do zero correction on wind.
Yeah, just square it up.
Ready?
I'm there, fire and
Ready?
ready. Impact left edge. Press right. Splash left. Press right.
Oh, right under.
Yep. Impact.
I see it.
Give us one more just to confirm I didn't miscall that first one. I'm pretty sure I didn't. Unsure? No call. Yeah. I'm pretty sure that that was a hit for sure. Bottom quadrant again.
I'm gonna dial 11 for the last one.
Okay, so you go into the short target on the right?
Yeah.
Okay, short target on the right. I'm there.
Ready?
Wind's picking up here. Impact. Upper edge. Top line of the plate. Impact square on. Dude, what in the hell? This gun is insane.
All right, so
This round is insane.
the combination is insane, right?
This is insane.
A lot of people have been saying that this is a new Mark 12, and in fact, has been. Wait, can we say that? Certain organizations have been using this as an experimental platform, a system, to basically substitute what the Mark 12 was doing in the early GWAT eras. Why? Small frame, base, so this is basically an AR-15 base, but the upper is shooting the newer 6mm arc. Now, the interesting thing about this is Geissele had reinforced the inside of the receiver.
You can see it. It's like externally reinforced.
Yeah, you could see
right?
these rivets right here.
Yeah.
The gas system is a specific gas system for the 6.5 arc. The magazines we're using are also proprietary 6mm arc magazines.
Yep.
The receiver extension is specific to the 6mm. So basically,
It's purpose built. It's not just a caliber swap.
I'm sorry?
It's purpose built. It is not just a caliber and bolt swap.
Right. It's not just the caliber swap. There's some different things you need to...
Or barrel, I mean. Sorry. It's not just a barrel swap, right? It's not 300 blackout.
And that's where a lot of people run into issues, is they just do a barrel swap and that's it.
Well, bolt and barrel.
Well, bolts and barrel, yes. And they think that's it. There's more that needs to be done to it, and Geissele kind of did some of the hard work for that. Yeah. The idea is, though, that you could put all of this onto a standard AR-15 lower and get this 1,000-yard type of performance, which is pretty unreal.
Yeah, I mean, small frame doing that, that's
yeah,
disgusting.
You expect this from a 6.5 Creed, right?
Yes. Yep.
So the cool thing, what this brings is sort of the deployment kit concept of having a standard dual lower, and then you could drop the upper with a bolt carrier group onto the rifle and use the specific magazines and ammunition, and your rifle at that point will be able to do something like this. This is not...
Henry, let's move and run the bonus here.
All right. I think wind was dead on, right?
At 800, you said you were right of center, and they were coming in right about there. I think at 900, we started to mess around with it a bit.
Okay, so...
Dude, I can't even tell what's happening. The rounds are smashing now. I mean, you definitely hit it multiple times.
Okay. Recoil definitely less than 6.5. Creed.
I mean, that was really fast. I want to know what those splits were. Those were pretty fast.
It was
splits.
really easy to get back on target.
That was crazy.
I don't know. Man, look. This is so... This is like, this is hard for me to describe because it's basically taking what feels like an AR-15, slightly more recoil, I'd say like 20% more recoil, but then merging it with a performance that is not AR-15.
I mean, there's definitely wind here. Like, I feel the wind on me.
Yeah, no,
so
those are dead on aim.
And that's like, it's not being affected at all.
Yeah,
it's like
zero correction on wind.
That's crazy. I mean, I get it's not a full value, right? Yeah. But it's not 0 miles an hour either. Yeah. That's absolutely sick. I want to go back, Henry, and really talk through the use case for this in the debrief.
Okay. All right. We'll see you guys at the debrief. Yeah, it looks like, I think 4 out of 5.
All right. Yeah, this is crazy controllable. That's for sure.
It's unreal, isn't it?
I mean, that's like shooting a slightly more stout 5.56.
It doesn't feel like a large frame. It just feels like an AR, maybe with a heavier-ish, like
almost
if you
like
had,
just like an overgas.
That's what I was about to say. It feels like a 16-inch barrel carbine gas.
Yeah, just like a little bit maybe with a suppressor on it, right?
Yes.
Just a little bit of extra punch, but not bad at all.
Yeah.
Well, hello there. You must have caught us at the battalion field headquarters as we were about to break for lunch. Now, we're trying to not have the MREs. I hear the boys in the field are quite fond of them. I hope you're enjoying the show thus far. Shows like this, they're brought to you by Slate Black Industries. And more importantly, we have the support from the patrons of Patreon and Utreon. That's true. This group of men and women, they support us intellectually, financially, but most importantly, emotionally. So today, I'd like to invite you, come, join us, become one of us. Together, we could plan to conquer the world of firearms technology. But if you cannot, that's all right. We completely understand. We'd be just as happy to hear from you in the comments section below. Well, without further ado, we'll leave you back to it. Ah, yes. The G money. The GFR, aka the good rifle. Topped off with a lovely Tangent Theta. And of course, what made it shoot the best is a Slate Black Industries items right here. Obviously.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. Dude, it's very rare that at this point, after having done this now for many years, that I walk away from a session going, that was uniquely spectacular. Like, that was just, that hit different. You know what I mean? This was one of those times. And I look back on it and I'm thinking about the run, I'm watching the footage. Is this like the best gun we've shot on the course for the type of shooting that we measure on the course?
Yeah, it is. For this type of shooting, right? So we're not putting into any considerations, external considerations to this type of stuff. This is video game sniper accuracy.
From the projectile and how it was flying and just, I mean, the responsiveness of the rifle in terms of how tight it was shooting, the how soft it shoots, not to mention how easy it was to spot it. It's a heavier, it's a heavier, larger projectile, so the wake is easier to see. The effect on target is easier. Like, all of these things, both for the shooter, when you're behind the gun, seeing where your impact is, but also for me spotting it, I could see it better. There was less hesitation or thought about where the round might have gone or where the hit might have been. Like sometimes on 5.56 at distance, we struggle on that. This just ticked all of those boxes, like all of them.
I will say though, like if you look at this thing, this is a commitment of a rifle and a setup for this particular rifle. GFRs, what are they going for?
It's like 3 or 3.5, somewhere in there.
Yeah. The Tangent, 5.
45, 5, yeah.
5. The professionals are up in 5.
Yeah.
So then you add on the small things. I mean, I wouldn't even add the small things, but
bipod suppressor.
Sure.
Yeah.
You're at SR25 price point to drive into this. I mean,
so long and short, yeah, it darn well better have done very well, right?
Yeah, especially because unlike some of the other more unique designs out there, it looks like an AR-15, right? Mm-hmm. So when people look at it, oh, it's a Geissele. Okay. Like they would just equate this to any other run-of-the-mill AR-15. Fine. But the reality is the internals are drastically different from just an AR-15. They had to be redesigned for it to work, and not just work, but work reliably. The cartridge is drastically different from the 5.56, even the 77 grain 5.56. Even though this thing has the shell of an SPR, the actual performance of it far exceeds it, and all of that comes down to the internals, and most importantly, the cartridge that powers this type of performance.
And you know what? This is a really interesting segue, Henry, because you and I talked about like what is the Mark 12 of today, and we've done a number of different sessions on this where we talk about the concept of the special purpose rifle in today's vernacular versus a GPR, just like a general purpose setup, and how the lines have blurred in those areas, right? The GPR of today is basically like what the SPR was with a slightly shorter barrel. And then the SPR of today is a precision carbine. It's basically just a GPR, but with like better, more accuracy, long range precision oriented features, arc rail, slightly long, more magnification, maybe stuff like that. There's not like these major delineations like you might have seen in the early 2000s. Then this rifle kind of steps in and you go, all right, this is the new long-range sort of configuration. This is doing stuff so much better than just another precision 5.56 gun. But it has its own drawbacks and how it deviates from that spectrum as well. And I know you want to talk through those.
Yeah, because like let's look at the lineage of the SPR, the Mark 12 to be specific, the special purpose receiver, as the original designation was. The idea was that they had an upper receiver group that would just clip onto a lower receiver group if you're overseas, and you would have an optic that was slave to it, and you would have a highly effective suppressor and bipod system and everything to basically extend that M4 carbine's range out to 800 plus. And the big thing that powered that was a 77 grain ammunition. That was a secret sauce. That's the thing that was the big legacy from the Mark 12 system. And people forget about that. People focus on just the receiver group and hence nowadays just the rifle, because they don't even do just a receiver group. They build out the whole thing in the civilian world. But the ammunition was the core tenet that made the Mark 12 what the Mark 12 was. It wasn't just the 18-inch barrel. You had the Mark 12 Hollands, which it's an offshoot, granted, but that 77 grain ammunition powered those URGI upper receivers with an LPVO to perform similarly. So when you're talking about this thing, right, how is this employed as the new Mark 12, the new SPR? This thing you very well could clip onto a lower receiver. You have to use a specific magazine to go with it, but very well performs in a similar fashion. Now, the downside is, obviously, you can't just jam a 5.56 cartridge in here. This is another step farther when now we're actually seeing URGIs. Guys can push those things out to 600, 700, 800 meters with 77 grain. No issue. How do we improve upon that? Do we come up with a new 5.56? The 224 Valkyrie was kind of like a 5.56 elongated, I guess you could say. The 6mm arc, initially I thought it was, it's just like a Grendel. But as we tested it on the range, and I'd say the 6 Dasher had some type of influence on the 6 arc, using 6mm in PRS competitions, in the civilian shooting world, people started seeing that this little small frame cartridge has some legs to it, literally. And so they started dropping this thing onto like a standard AR-15 frame. But they started running into issues. Like Geissele, for this particular thing, the reason I say it is an AR-15, but it isn't an AR-15. The gas system is completely different from an AR-15's gas block. There's some pressure reservoir there. The bolt inside is an enlarged and reinforced bolt. People used to use 7.6239 bolts to chamber the 6 arc, and they ran into fragility issues and longevity issues with a bolt. The receiver, you can't see it on this side, but you can see it on this side. You see the reinforcement rivets that go all the way down. The receiver is completely reinforced for a higher pressure threshold. But the biggest thing to it, outside of the cartridge, comes down to the magazines. For Geissele specifically, they designed their own magazines to work in these things. I thought that was really interesting. Like Ian over at Forgotten Weapons harps on this all the time. You want a reliable weapon system, get reliable magazines to start with. That's where it starts. We've seen it in MP5s. What magazines chokes up MP5s? Non-H&K clone magazines always choke those things up when you use poor ammunition, right? Same thing for this. I think some other companies use like 6mm.
I think that they're Grendel mags. It's like the ones that have like the ridiculous hook.
Yeah. So you get some companies that try to take that route. But Geissele went and just redesigned the entire magazine system to proprietarily feed 6 arc. And so there was a significant amount of work that was done to this to accurately perform, precisely perform, but then also reliably perform. And on top of that, I think using a flow-through can is going to be important there to preserve sort of the functionality of the weapon system instead of messing with the gas system even more, pushing even more pressure into a system that already had to be redesigned. And so all in all, I was excited by reputation to get into learning about a 6mm arc. But when I actually went and shot it, you remember the first group I shot was just...
Dude, stupid. I mean, stupid. The thing about this is that look, when you start going into match grade stuff, especially small frame, it's like small frame match grade stuff, you can be shooting very nice groups, like quite tight groups. The thing that blew me away about this rifle's sort of like base groupings, which we have an entire separate session on, just nothing crazy, just a handful of groups we shot with it. When we look at those, this is with a cold hammer forged chrome line barrel. This isn't like a match cut stainless barrel. And we're shooting long string groups at an inch or less. And in your case, like you printed a 5-shot group that was sub 0.5, like
0.4.
Crazy town.
Yeah,
crazy town. I mean,
these are first groups I shot like literally first shot, and then I dialed it and shot a group. It was 0.4.
That's crazy. And obviously, again, when we look at the performance, although we know that guns that are like 1.5 2 inch, maybe even 2.5 inch guns, they can shoot this course without a whole bunch of issue. But the room for error, which you allow by taking that group size and shrinking it to inch or sub-inch, is significant, right? It allows you additional room for error on things like your wind call. And if you're off by, a quarter target on your wind call, while you may miss with a 2-inch gun, you would have less chance of missing with a gun that's shooting like this. I'm most interested, Henry, and most surprised by just how this thing felt, though, when we were shooting it.
Yeah.
I even with the can on, I think your point of it being a flow-through can is particularly relevant here. I got down behind this and shooting it. It felt like the recoil impulse of maybe like a 16-inch carbine AR, right? Something that was just like, it's an AR-15, just a little overgassed. Like, that's what it felt like. And it's basically a flow-through suppressed setup on this thing. And for perspective, it felt good as a result of that. With when you factor in what we were shooting and how we were shooting it, you didn't see what we were able to do with the speed strings on this thing. Dude.
I will say, you actually beat me on that. And if you look at what we were doing, it was really interesting. Sometimes we were getting to go back and look at the footage of what we were doing. I was telling Josh, that first shot, I fired it, and I was wondering where I was going to hit, and then making sure that I would dress off if I was truly off, because I was already back on target. But then that fraction of the second, as soon as I saw the hit, I squeezed a second shot and then continued on. And you could saw that both of us, we had 4 hits out of 5, and the hit was just barely off. But that's kind of what we want to see, is how fast you can get at the best of your ability shots on target. And so
that I would say for me on that string, like, that was cold for the day, right? Like, I hadn't shot before that for the day. I think I shot maybe around when I first got down there to feel what the recoil impulse was like. But that was me pushing at what I thought was about 100% speed, where, like, I was seeing the reticle and I was confirming that it was back where I wanted it, but I was pushing. Like, I was going hard on that. And to your point, we have almost all impacts, and then the one just off the edge.
Look, I will say that last shot that you got was just on the corner of it. I just kissed it a little bit, but I will definitely count that because the hit is a hit, even though it hit the perf.
Yeah, broke perf, baby. Broke perf.
Yeah.
I just, when you factor this stuff in, Henry, it was a moment of like, ooh, wait a second. Something just happened. Like, I just got behind something that was fun. I don't think, we shoot a bunch of different guns on the show, right? Mm-hmm. I don't think I've ever come back from a session and gone like, I need to buy this now.
It's that moment from Napoleon Dynamite. I want this. Or I want that.
I came back from this session and called up the guys at Geissele and were like, I know you're out of stock of this thing. When will they be back in stock, pray tell?
No, okay, so on the military employment side, because this is a military rifle at this point, the big question is I have been very vocal against the NGSW program and the M7 with the 6.8 by 51.
The Fury, right?
Yes.
277 Fury. Is it 277 Fury?
277 Fury is a civilian term. 6.8 by 51 is a military term.
Got it.
I have been adamantly against that cartridge from the logistics perspective. So then you would perhaps talk about, well, then why do you think this is such a good thing? I think this is a good thing for SF operations. I don't think this is a general purpose cartridge. And yes, it still needs a reworked rifle, but still this has more interface with the AR-15 in my opinion, in both the mag pouches and just the soft kit and the interface between receiver to lower receiver. And then on top of that, you're talking about a large frame cartridge versus a small frame cartridge. If you're able to perform and get that, get the distance and accuracy perk with that, imagine if you put one of the, like if you must have the electronic aiming system, right? And you put an electronic aiming system on this. Can you imagine what this would do? If you have to take the logistic hit, I think the perks of this rifle and its relative similarity to an AR-15, but with much better performance, is worth it. Whereas the NGSW, the M7, having a completely different system, having a completely different magazine like frame system, and having so much more recoil, is less worth it than this if you're trying to accomplish that longer distance kill. Now, penetration-wise, we didn't do any penetration tests, but
sure, there's a whole host of other factors, but shootability wise and distance wise, I mean, this thing shot unbelievable.
Yeah. I'm excited to see as more people get into 6-arc and GFRs and other 6mm small frame rifles. I'm excited to see what kind of results we're seeing in both military and the civilian application of these things. Because I do think that this is a very cool development in cartridge technology that we haven't seen this kind of jump for quite a while.
I want to harp back on one point here. I addressed it earlier, but I need to say it again because it has some carryover effect. The barrel here, you referenced the barrel life a minute ago and how it's going to be reduced over a 5.56 barrel life.
Sure.
The fact that this is cold hammer forged, not all of them are, right? Like you can get versions that aren't, but the fact that this is cold hammer forged chrome line, I've sort of taken to the perspective as somebody who has actually shot out barrels on 5.56 guns,
right.
Mind you, match barrels. I've sort of taken the tack that I don't want any more match barrels. I would just rather have a chrome line barrel that's shooting like, I don't know, 1.5 inches. And if I can get less, that's even better. This to me is the optimal because I just don't want to deal with it. Like I just want it. And I want to be able to train with it over and over and over and over and over and not be worried about that. And the fact that this sort of ticks that box Granted, who knows what the actual barrel life is going to be here. We'll probably have a chance to test this over the next X number of months or years as we shoot these. But, to where it starts to open back up or what have you. But I think that is just a piece of like standout importance in terms of that can't be glossed over. The fact that this is shooting inch or sub-inch with a chrome line barrel, cold hammer forged barrel, like to me, that's like.
I think even more so, it's important to use chrome line cold hammer forge with a cartridge like 6 arc, because it is pushing higher pressures, and you do want a little bit more durability to it. I mean, look, we both like the rifle a lot. This is out of my typical wheelhouse, but this is definitely long range on easy mode. That's why I wanted you to shoot this, dude. I was excited for this. I wanted you to get behind something that was just very not Henry. yeah. But on top of that, like the last year, I've really delved into glass, and I will say I like pairing a certain level of glass to a certain level of rifle. And some people would go like, oh, 3 to 15, why would you go 3 to 15? I think is a perfect range for the GFR.
Yeah. I think you could get away with a little bit more on the top end, but to me, this is a 4 to 16, 3.5 to 18, 3 to 15, 4 to 20. That is optimal for this gun.
Because it's smaller than their 5.25s. But then you can drop to 3x to really use it at closer ranges and take faster shots. But the other thing that I will say is magnification, and this is my personal theory now, is magnification should be correlated to clarity. The clarity provided by this is so incredibly high. Like, it looks like we were looking through fog that morning. And I mean, for a while I was like, this thing doesn't do well in fog. And then Josh was like, you freaking moron, because he then cleaned out a bunch of the fogged lenses in the front. And I was like, oh wow, I can immediately see the long distance.
I forgot about that.
But that's then I remember I was jumping between some of the different scoped optics, and you could definitely cut through a lot more of that fog as you were working. That side of the clarity, I will take a lower powered optic, but a higher level degree of glass clarity, rather than a high magnification and low clarity, low light transmission. I think as I've matured on this, I've really come to appreciate rifles like this on standby rifles that I want to just work. Yeah, so all in all, like, this is one of those things that, like, I'm looking at it. I'm sure this video is not going to get nearly as much clicks as, like, some of the World War II stuff or whatever. But, guys, if you're on this video, you know exactly what you're looking for. You know, like, the technology development of the 6mm. That's why you probably clicked on this video. Like, the silhouette of this rifle may not be as standout the other things, but it's one of those things when people see it, they're like, ooh, they see the little small rivets on the side, and they're like, ooh, I know what that is. It's one of those things. It's like this, currently it's still this little club of people going like, ooh, very nice. You know, like, this is one of those rifles to me right now that is kind of like, there's a little bit of like, you need to know what you're looking for in order to see it.
Yeah. All right, man. This was by and far, I think, like again, I'll say it again, like the easiest one we've shot on the course.
Yeah.
It just smoked it. This was awesome.
Yeah.
So, guys, if you stuck around to the end, we appreciate those of you who do so. Like, comment, sub, hop over to Patreon, jump in the private Discord server, chat us up. And until next time, we'll see you on the range.
096, 4 Vic, 8 packs, REDCON 1, green to green. How copy, over?
096, this is 716, roger, over. 16, 091, 1 pack, green, green, over. This is 716, roger, over. 16, 15 like 2, 1 Victor, 2 packs, REDCON 1, over.